What's good, bro? All right, all right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Brachah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Omawan back at you with another lesson. And going into the title, all right, the news is lit. All right. Things happening all across the globe. All right. And I'm just gonna grab like just random things that are happening around the world, as an update to what's going on, all right, all over the world right now. Cause hey man, we are in those times, man, and everything that's happening right now are just birth pangs, all right, according to the scriptures. And as a matter of fact, let me grab this. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 37, and it reads, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side. All right. And what we're going through around the globe right now is the beginning of sorrows. Okay. Because all these things are going to happen simultaneously, all going to happen at once. All right. What you're getting right now is birth pangs, just like when a woman is in labor. All right. She gets, her contractions. They come, slowly. They come little by little. All right. At first you're at your house and you haven't had no contractions. Then all of a sudden contractions come upon a woman, right? Then you got to take her to the hospital. And then when she goes to the hospital, she's having contractions every half hour or every hour, and then those contractions intensify within time, as time passes by, they start to get, sharper. They start to get harder. Okay. To the point where you're having contractions every 5 minutes, every 3 minutes, down to, every minute until you deliver the baby. You see, well, that's how everything is happening around the globe. All right. Things, contractions been hitting ever since, ever since 2020, when we hit the first pandemic. If you really kind of realize and look at the patterns, everything since 2020, and even before that, we had birth pangs, right? Because things were happening around the globe. All right. But we have been drawing closer and closer to the end since 2020. And 2020 was a big year for a lot of prophecy to come into play. A lot of, great awakening happening amongst our people. All right. So since 2020, the birth pangs have gotten sharper and sharper over the years. All right. And that's how you know that nothing is getting better. There's no such thing as we're going back to normal. There's no such thing as, you know, things are going to be made better or get better. Okay. America's not going to be made great again. America is on its deathbed. So you see these things happening around the globe because it's a sign of what's going to happen to America. It's a sign of distress. You see, America's Babylon the Great in the scripture. So America is going to be saved for last. The best is being saved for last because the grand finale here is going to happen here in America. Okay. Where America gets destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. Okay. So everything's been happening like a woman in travail, a woman that's into a pregnancy. Okay. And in her delivering stages. So let's grab a couple of these things, right? This is, hold on real quick. I gotta go back into it. Hate when it does that. All right, this just go randomly with things that's happening around the world. One of the big talks right now is Nebraska and the wildfires right now. Okay, this is what's going on.
Nebraska, and the scale is extreme. A massive wildfire system is now burning across Nebraska, and the scale is extreme.
Shit, you might not be able to see it.
More than 600,000 acres have already been consumed, with multiple fires merging into a single expanding burn zone. The Morrill fire alone has surged past 500,000 acres, making it one of the largest wildfires ever recorded in the state.
It's kind of hard for you to see it.
At peak spread, containment dropped to 0 as fire lines were completely overrun.
All right, that's better.
Winds exceeding 60 miles per hour are driving this fire across open terrain at speed. Flames are moving for miles in hours,
try to get the sun out, block it,
and creating an unstable and aggressive fire front. A massive wildfire system is now burning across Nebraska, and the scale is extreme. More than 600,000 acres have already been consumed, with multiple fires merging into a single expanding burn zone. The Morrill fire alone has surged past 500,000 acres, making it one of the largest wildfires ever recorded in the state. At peak spread, containment dropped to 0 as fire lines were completely overrun. Winds exceeding 60 miles per hour are driving this fire across open terrain at speed. Flames are moving for miles in hours, shifting direction rapidly, and creating an unstable and aggressive fire front. Entire regions, including areas around Lake McConaughey, have been forced into evacuation as conditions change without warning. Smoke is spreading across multiple counties, reducing visibility and pushing air quality down across a wide area. A full emergency response is underway, including National Guard deployment, aircraft, and ground crews. Even with that response, large sections remain uncontrolled and continue to expand. This is a fire event on a scale that would normally dominate national coverage, with active fires still moving across open land. Efforts are ongoing to bring it under control, and further updates will follow as conditions change.
So what you got going on in Nebraska, all right? Ooh, Salaki. I'm over here putting my hat on, tripping. That's because I was holding it. All right, so what's going on in Nebraska, right? It kind of reminds me, let me see. Nebraska on the map is, where is Nebraska on the map? So Nebraska is in kind of dead center, right, of the map, as you can see right there. Okay, it's in the dead center. All right, there's a lot of crops around that area. Okay, a lot of those crops are being burned. Okay, because remember, there's a famine coming to this place, man. So along with what's going on out there in the Strait of Hormuz, all right, where, you know, the urea fertilizer is being, you know, basically held back from crossing over to America. All right, you got the oil, all right, that's being held back from America. Okay, a lot of imports and outports, right? I mean, so like imports and exports, all right, are basically being held okay, because of what's going on out there in the Strait of Hormuz, okay? So that's causing a famine, all right? That's going to cause a famine to the states out here in America, okay? So what you see with going on with Nebraska, like I said, you got a lot of fires being put out, all right? I mean, being brought up, all right? And it's burning down crops. Not only that, Nebraska, I believe, because this is the middle of the map, all right? Are there lots of woods and mountains in Nebraska? No, but it does have significant wooded areas and hilly and scenic terrain, particularly in the west and in the north. All right. What's going on with that is they're burning a lot of areas where, when the time comes, remember the scriptures say that we're going to be as pilgrims upon the earth. Okay, so we're going to have to live off grid. You know, we're going to be in an off grid type of scenario when it comes to us being as pilgrims upon the earth. All right, so what that does is that burns those areas, man, where, you know, people will be able to run off to, you know, and live off the grid. Okay, because the most popular places is on the outside of America. If you think about it, you know, you got California, New York, all right, Chicago, all right, you got Florida. So everything that's the most populated, all right, major populated cities are on the outside. Okay, so eventually, you know, people gonna run towards the middle, all right, as pilgrims is on the earth. Okay, that's where you're gonna have more wooded areas, more scenic areas, like it just said. You're gonna have mountains. You have the Rocky Mountains. Okay, that's gonna be the most run to places, depending where you are in your states. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be like, I'm from Jersey, so a lot of the places that people will probably run off to will be towards Pennsylvania. You know, Pennsylvania is a very because that's where the Appalachian Mountains run through. It's very hilly, it's very open with wooded areas. You know, you could pretty much, you know, get lost out there in the woods. All right, so depending where, you know, people are on the map, all right, again, you're gonna run towards more of the middle of the map. All right, I'm not saying you're gonna be down in Florida, you're gonna end up in Nebraska. That wouldn't make sense. But when you're trying to run away from the borders of America, where there's water, because remember, America's surrounded by water. All right, there's gonna be a whole lot of different types of you know, troubles coming upon those major cities. So it's gonna force a lot of people to run away from the major cities and more into, you know, wooded areas to hide out, you know, to stay off grid. Okay, these major cities that are being I mean, not these major cities, these smart cities that are being built, all right, are more in you know, major populated places. Okay, and we're gonna have to stay away from those. All right, let me grab this precept real quick. Second Ezra's 16 and this is 40. It says, "Oh my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle." All right, and that's what we've been doing. We've been making you ready for the battle. What's going on? All right, just spiritual battle warfare that's going on first and foremost. All right, then you have a physical battle, you know, after that. So we've been preparing you with the word and the power of YAHAWAH'S through the word. Okay, to be able to be, you know, stable in those last days, because knowledge and wisdom is the stability of thy times. Okay, so without this word, there is no comfort. Okay, the only way we can comfort you in these crazy times, in these rough times, is through this word. Okay, so it says, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. You see, so we're going to be as pilgrims, and pilgrims, you know, we're constantly moving. Okay, they were constantly all over the place. There's no time for us to sit down and be comfortable. Okay, that's why the Lord has always made us, being in his ministry, being in his truth, we've always been made uncomfortable, you know, because if you're comfortable, that's not a good sign, man. That means that you're not growing. That means that you're too stagnant. Okay. The Lord is supposed to make you uncomfortable so you can be prepared for uncomfortableness in those last days, man, because that's exactly how it's going to be. It's going to be a constant battle of us trying to go from here to there, trying to stay out the way. You know, you're going to have these damn martial law troops everywhere. You know, you're going to have these robots and different types of technologies that's going to be able to track you down. Okay, that Esau has, that he's ready to bring out. So we've been preparing you for the battle and preparing you most and foremost, all right? First and foremost, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has been preparing you to be uncomfortable, all right? To never be comfortable in one spot, right? So we're going to be as pilgrims upon the earth, okay? So they're burning these places just like, I think it was in 2020 when you had all those fires that were going on, all right? It might have been 2022, all right? But couple years back, you had all them fires around America, all right, and they were doing that for a reason. They were burning up spots where you can also hide out. They were spraying Roundup around all the lakes, around all the spots where basically you were able to the best type of water for you to have is like creeks and things like that, right? Water that's constantly flowing, rivers and things like that. They were spraying Roundup around those areas and poisoning the water. Why? Because they know that the elect is going to be as pilgrims upon the earth, you see? So them being pilgrims upon the earth, they're going to flee to spots like that, you see? And they're trying to make it harder for us to even be around those type of areas, man. Okay? So now you're going to start hearing more fires around the world, you know? Plantations being put on, set on fire, all right? Certain warehouses and meat. That's another thing. They were burning down a lot of the meat warehouses where we get a lot of our foods. Okay, all of that is done for a reason. Don't let it pass your mind thinking that, oh, it's just a fire that randomly happened. No, this is all orchestrated by your elites, by your governments, because they know exactly what they want to do. They want to starve this place out. They want to make you fall in line to basically go after them for the want of all things. All right. So that's one of the things that's being hit on the news right now is these wildfires, right? What else we got? We got United States are now starting to collapse with their airlines, right? Let's bring that one out real quick.
Pay attention and listen, because airports throughout the United States are starting to collapse. Look.
The TSA line. The line where you get your ID and boarding pass checked is all the way up there. It comes around here, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. It snakes through here, but then you have to take the escalator over there down to the baggage claim downstairs, and that's how you end up down here. Right now, according to that board, it says that the wait is 150 minutes. I'm not sure if that's accurate.
You see, so now they're starting to shut down airlines, all right, because one of the things that's coming up on the news, they saying, where did I just read it? It says the U.S. government just partially shut down. TSA agents are working without pay. Airport security lines are 30% longer. Global entry is suspended. And this is going to get worse before it gets better. But here is what one is talking about, right? So with all that happening, all right, I guess a partial shutdown is going on and people are not getting paid in these airports, okay? Not only that, all right, because we're on high alert, all right, traveling is going to have its own restrictions, man. And that's going to continue to get worse. See, that's going to cut off all this shit about people getting ready to go on vacations on the springtime, summertime vacations. All right. The Lord is shutting down America, period. Okay. As the scriptures say, a man shall desire to go into another city and shall not be able to. In 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, that's going to continue to come to pass. They showed you that in December of 2025. Right? I think it was in November of 2025, December of 2025. People were not able to go out of certain areas, you know. It was becoming harder and harder through the flights to get a flight. Okay? And those are part of those birth pangs that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah continually shows you, warning after warning, that this place is going to shut down. Okay, so remember, they've had a shutdown for the government that was supposed to happen at the end of January. I think it was January 30th. Okay, they had shut down in 2025 around October. Okay, all the way down to December. Okay, and then they opened it back up, and they said it was only supposed to last up to January 30th. The shutdown, it was supposed to open up, and it was supposed to last till January 30th, and that we were going to go back into lockdowns again. I mean, shutdowns again. All right, and that's what you're starting to see again. You're going to start seeing these things shutting down one by one, little by little, especially with what's going on out there in the war. So it's gonna put flight restrictions. Okay, if you are still trying to go on a fucking vacation at this time, you is a damn fool, man, because this is a very big chance that you might not come back. You see what's going on with people that's going to Dubai. They're reporting saying that they're stuck in Dubai. They can't come back because of the war. That's what's going to happen. Okay, that's why you don't put yourself in predicaments like that at the end of the day. All right, so matter of fact, with that also being said, let me grab this on his flights. Right, this is a video that one of the brothers brought up. He posted it on his page. The brother Bakar, beloved brother Bakar Math. All right, definitely subscribe to his page. Beautiful content he always brings out. All right, this is where's it at? Hold on, it's coming. It's loading up.
We're doing absolutely everything we can. We have a national deployment office force, and we've fully depleted that. So at this point, we're fully stretched. And so, frankly, there's not much else we can do. As the weeks continue, if this continues, it's not hyperbole to suggest that we may have to quite literally shut down airports, particularly smaller ones, if call-out rates go up and we can't, a lot of these officers can't afford to come in. I talked to one officer this week. She's a single mother, and she has a special needs child, and she can't afford to pay for her special needs childcare. So again, I believe it's frankly unconscionable that we have Senate Democrats that are playing, they're holding our folks' financial livelihood hostage over political games, political partisanship. So we really need to get back to normal order.
And I'm sorry, that shit ain't gonna happen, man. Ain't no such thing as getting back to order. Okay, so like I said, these shutdowns are gonna continue to come. Okay, everything's gonna continually keep shutting down little by little. Right. So going into this, the U.S. government just partially shut down, like I just read. Right. It says what actually shut down. It says Congress missed the funding deadline for the Department of Homeland Security, TSA, Customs and Border Protection, and CISA are all unfunded. Thousands of non-essential employees furloughed. It says essential staff like TSA officers working without paychecks. Okay. It says airport security is collapsing. Wait times up to 20 to 30% at major airports. Pre-check lanes, closing agents and calling in sick. Right. And then it says global entry suspended entirely. Spring break travel at record highs. If you have flights booked in the next 30 to 60 days, you're gambling, you see? And then it says 3-hour wait times. Okay. Then it says airports might start closing terminals. Airlines are warning if this drags on, some airports will reduce checkpoint capacity and shut down entire terminals. This happened in 2019. Okay, 2019 during the last shutdown. All right, and like I said, this actually happened in 2025, where they were showing you slight shutdowns with the airports. Okay, because I actually did a video on that, like a whole entire video production on that, basically going into how the mirth of the land is gone. All right, because that's exactly what it's going to do. America's known for traveling and having vacations. Americans here, especially Jake, love to have a fucking vacation, man. You're always watching on social media, people going to this vacation, that vacation. All right. These women love to travel and have their little vacations and go wild out and have a good time. Okay. That shit is all done for, man, because the mirth of the land is gone. Okay. The Lord is shutting down, showing you that we are in what? Serious and dangerous times, perilous times. There's no such thing as we can have fun no more, man. You got red flags being put out, false flags with all these domestic terrorists popping up in clubs and shooting down clubs, you know. You have sleeper cells all over America, okay, that at any given moment, major places that have major population of groups of people, you know, stadiums, baseball games, football games. I'm just throwing things out with major population, right? Concerts, okay? Disneyland, Six Flags, Great Adventures, places like that are at higher risk for a terrorist to come and do something that's going to end up on the news. You see? So we're on high alert everywhere in America with these sleeper cells, man. That's why it's not good to be going out. You are supposed to be in the spirit of learning of YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S, asking for forgiveness and repenting, all right? And getting right with YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S. But instead, these people continue to live life like there's nothing happening around. You got people that are signing up for wars, people going to war, all right? Signing up for the military because of bonuses and benefits, thinking that it's all a joke. But here it is when your ass get called for the front line and you coming back in a casket, it ain't funny no more. You see? There was a video I just came across, fucking missiles flying. These guys was sitting down, I think it was somewhere in Iran. I mean, not Iran, but around that area, all right? Because they were speaking some Arabic language or something like that, right? And they're sitting on the top of a building just having dinner as missiles are flying over their heads. And they're laughing about it. And see, everybody thinks that this war shit right now is a joke, okay? Until that true Armageddon comes to play. Because the Armageddon is the end game right there, man. That's the war of all wars. That's what's going to lead to the destruction of America. That's what's going to lead to America being annihilated by thermonuclear missiles from California to New York City. And this place is going to be a great lake of fire, man. You see? So it's all fun and games till we're in that, till we're into the actual mess. And we're in the midst of it right now. See, only the elect is going to be able to take heed to these things and realize what's really going on as the rest of the world keeps turning and the rest of the world keeps, you know, spinning. Right? So it says, airports might start closing terminals. Airlines are warning if it drags on, some airports will reduce checkpoint capacity and shut down entire terminals. This happened in 2019. During the last shutdown, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. All right. Then it says CISA just for law. Oh, damn, I want to know what that word is. Hold on. Let me type that word in because I feel like I'm saying it wrong. For loft, I think it is. For loft. Pronunciation. For law. Oh, slack here.
Furloughed.
Furloughed. That's what it is. I knew I was saying it wrong. Furloughed. Okay. What's the definition of that? So for my own personal knowing, furloughed. Furloughed employees are placed on temporary, involuntary, and often unpaid leave due to economic, budgetary, and disciplinary reasons. All right, now we got the point, right? Furloughed. Let me say it again. Yeah, furloughed. All right. So it says CISA just furloughed 2/3 of its workforce. That's the agency protecting power grids, hospitals, financial systems, you see? And all those things are going to fail also, man. Power grids are going to fall out here, collapse. We've been told you that, man. It's going to be a blackout out here. There's going to be power outage out here, cyber attacks, man. They've been warning you that for years now, okay? And that's imminent. That's going to happen. Okay, that's one of the plagues that were given to Egypt in the ancient times, and this is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So we're going to get that same plague brought back just in a different form. It's going to come by the way of a cyber attack, power grids being shut down, power being cut off. Okay, and it ain't gonna be no 2-3 days. It ain't gonna be no 3 days like in Egypt, man. It's gonna be longer than that. This is gonna be for it could be possible weeks, months. Okay. It says core threat monitoring is skeleton crew mode. It says most policy work, audits, and training programs paused. It says, when does this end? No one knows. Congress passed 1.2 trillion for most agencies through September, but DHS only got a short-term extension while lawmakers fought over immigration policy. That extension expired. No deal yet. TSA agents working for free are hemorrhaging daily. Okay? It says most people will panic, complain, and Twitter and show up to the airport unprepared. See, that's one of the main things, that people are unprepared for what's about to happen. See, we're prepared. We've been preparing you for the battle. We've been preparing you for what's to come, preparing you for prophecy. Okay? But the rest of the world is going to be unprepared to these things. They're not going to understand, all right, when judgment comes. They're not going to understand when everything hits the fan, right? And everything starts collapsing, why it's collapsing, why it's happening. That's why it's important to have the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, the knowledge, and have the understanding of prophecy, because it comforts us. We understand that, man, this is just the doing of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. We're at the end of this thing, man. We're almost home. We're ready to go home to the kingdom. We're ready to see the kingdom. We're ready to see Yahweh Shai crack clouds, all right, and bring righteousness and establish righteousness here and life, period. Okay, bring us back to our homeland. Okay, take the imposters that's out in our homeland and put us back where we're supposed to be. You see, we want a new heaven and a new earth where there dwelleth in righteousness, right? So it says, most people are going to be unprepared. It says, then they'll arrive 3+ hours early, book morning flights, have backup travel plans. But here's the uncomfortable truth they're missing. This isn't about travel tips. It's about control. And that's exactly what we're entering into, a time of control, total technocracy. This NWO that they're trying to push is about having total control of all things. That's how we know that the RFID, the MOTB, the mark of the beast is right here. It's in our presence. It's already being done to people, man. Okay? People around the globe are already, yeah, as it tells you in Revelations 13-16, when you go into that word mark, it goes into Garagma and then it goes into Karax, right? Salakia, verse 18, when it goes into it says this is the number of the beast, right? 666. When you go into that word 666, it goes into Chi-Psi stigma. Stigma goes into, right, a stamp that's imprinted or cut into your body, right? But it's also telling you that there were devotees, okay, that willingly took the MOTB, basically. And that's what you have going on right now around America. The people that are not being forced to take it, that are willingly already ready to take it, have been taking it. There are people in America walking around with Neuralinks, RFIDs in their hands and everything, because they were willingly, without being forced, ready to take it to worship this society, to worship their gods. Okay? Now, the rest of the people need to hear it's mandatory for them to take it, because that's when they're going to go into a panic. That's when they're going to realize that they can't move in this society unless they have that technology in them. Okay? So the mark of the beast is already here, man. It's been among us. Okay? People in Sweden have chip parties all the time. You know, people on that side already pretty much, you know, starting to comply with those type of systems. All right. Remember, America's going to be last They're saving the Lord is saving the best for last. And it's about to happen, man. Right? So it's about total control. It says when your income depends on your physical presence at an office, at a client site, at an airport, you're one shutdown away from chaos, one delay away from missing the deal, one cancellation away from losing the client. It says there are two types of people. One builds their life around functioning infrastructure. The other builds systems that run when infrastructure fails. One needs airports to work. The other needs nothing but internet. One trades time for money. The other built assets that pay them while they sleep. You see? It says, truth is the wealthy don't trade time for money in a job that requires them to be somewhere. They build systems that operate without them. AI just made it possible for average people to do the same. While TSA agents work without pay, AI works 24/7 without complaining, calling in sick and needing a paycheck. And this is jobs being taken from America. Jobs are going to continue to be taken away from the world, man, because AI is in full effect. You see, we are in the fourth industrial revolution of things, right? We're in the process of everything being made, the internet, used by the internet. And with the internet comes AI, comes robotic AI. Okay, and let's just grab that real quick. This is real quick, Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes 12:3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. Okay, grinders goes into those that have employment, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. And why are they going to be shut in the streets? Because there's going to be no more employment. There's going to be no more work. Okay, these major stores, corporations, they're going to be ran down by actual AI. Nobody going to have to show up to these places no more. Okay, everything's going to be ran from computers. The CEOs and people going to work from their computers at home, directing the robots to do what they have to do. You see, now when you call a company, you talking on a damn phone with a whole fucking robot. You can't even get a normal person to jump on the phone. You got to talk to somebody that's a whole robot that says the same shit over and over and repeats itself. Oh, I can't hear what you said. Can you repeat yourself? Like, and it starts acting stupid and funny. See, that's where the times that we're in. They don't need no more humans to do the job. Why you think they've been prepping you and preparing you with UBI, universal basic income, a social credit system? Okay, because that's what's coming. That's what's going to usher in this system. Okay, so they've been preparing you with the UBI, the social credit score system. Okay, what's the other thing they've been preparing you with? Damn, it's another one on the tip of my tongue. I forgot what I wanted to bring out. But they're preparing you with those things that they want you to sit at home and be lazy. Okay, that's what America's about, being lazy. Right. So it says, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And when they shall be afraid of that which is high, the fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. You see, so desire here is gonna fail, man. People had that at one point years ago. People had the desire to want to be successful in America, you know, to be successful somewhere, somehow. That shit's gonna fall out the window. Why? Because everything is being taken away. Everything's being shut down. Employment is no more how it used to be. Do you know how many people are on unemployment right now? Millions of people are on unemployment here in America. Millions of people are suffering. Millions of people trying to catch a check through unemployment and can't because the lines are so packed. You see? You can't even, you got to get up at 6:30 in the morning and try to make sure that you get a phone call in by 7 o'clock before they even open. And if you don't, if you get there too late by 7:10, that's it. You can't even get through the damn lines, man. So imagine how frustrating it is here in America for people that have no work. Okay. So let's go back to that, right? It says, that's why I started a method. Now this guy's just talking some bullshit. He's trying to make you join his little scam. But what he said all before that is exactly what's going on around the world. Okay. What else we got going on here? We have this says how it says exclusive. How we're just 4 months away from Armageddon if Iran oil doesn't end. Bread riots, all right, starvation, flights and cars banned. In a chilling investigation, Ross Clark reveals precisely how nightmare will unfold. All right. And that's what's coming here to America, man. All right. Riots, starvation. Okay. The collapse of society, the collapse of America. Right. And it says months from Armageddon. That reminds me of Job. All right. This is why the devil's coming down on you with great wrath, because he has but a short time. All right. Scriptures say that the number of his months are with thee. Okay. Job 14:5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. You see? So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has said that there ain't nothing but months with this devil left. We can't look at, we have years. You know, that's why you a fool if you setting goals for 2 years from now, 10-year plans. That shit ain't gonna work, man. There is nothing but months left here in America. Months for this place to be disintegrated. And months to the Heavenly Father is seconds. You see? We're not on our time, but we're on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's time. So things are moving like this. All right. A brother just posted, the brother Azan, all right, posted. Let me grab his page real quick. He posted the other day. Where's it at? Give me 1 second. There you go. This is, he posted on his post. Where is it at? Come on. Here it go. It says, Earth has suddenly, this was news, Earth has suddenly started spinning faster, causing days to become shorter. And he posted a picture of it, right? And hey, that is because Matthew 24:22, right? Because for the elect's sake, right, the days shall be shortened. So the Lord is shortening the days out here. That's why everything is going faster and faster. Every year that we're here, right, it becomes faster and faster. Time flies more and more because we're at the end of this thing, man. The Lord is shortening the days for the elect's sake, because the cries and the prayers of the elect are piercing the clouds, man. We're constantly crying out to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai continually to get us the hell up out of here, man. You see? So the Lord is shortening the days, man. So we don't have years here. The days, all right, his days are determined by months here in America. And that's why this devil's coming down on you with great wrath, man. All right. So, like I said, there's going to be bread riots, starvation. Okay. And that's coming with what's going on in the war. Whenever there's war, famine comes hand in hand with it, man. Collapses of societies, great depressions come about when there's war. And this ain't no little ass war. This ain't no war that's just, you know, us in another country. This is a world war that's going on. It's affecting the whole globe. Okay. Economies are collapsing internationally all over the place. But because America's still standing, people think that this shit ain't coming to their backyard, man. Well, you're gonna find around. You're gonna find out real soon. You're gonna fuck around and find out what YAHAWAH'S is truly about. Okay, when it's time for destruction and it's time for judgment. All right. So you got that going on. All right. This says the average. This is about rent. It says the average U.S. rent just hit $3,000 a month, and landlords expect tenants to make 3 times the rent, and that's absolutely facts out here. I'm in Jersey. Jersey is one of the most expensive. If you can live in Jersey, you could pretty much live anywhere in the United States, because Jersey is known for being the highest rent places to pay rent in. All right. Also with New York. All right. But I know that when we was looking, when me and wifey was looking for a couple of, spots, and we was in a tough time, hey, call Elohim La YAHAWAH'S. He made it happen for us where we're at now, because we actually don't pay high at all. We pay $1,700, okay, a month. It's a 1-bedroom, but it is what it is. And actually, the guy that's a landlord is pretty cool. So, he hasn't jacked up nothing or anything like that. He's pretty cool. We pay cheap according to what people pay around us. When we was trying to look for houses, they were literally asking that you had to make 3 times more what rent was. Who the fuck has that type of money? You see, that's how hard it's getting out here where we live. And I can imagine everywhere else around America. Okay. Because what happens is when things like this happen, times like this that we're in, these landlords take advantage of that shit, man. And they see ways to make extra money. Okay. Not only that, especially with the area that I live in, there's a lot of small hatters, okay, that run around here. And they the ones that are knocking out all these houses. They knock people out of these places, and then they buy out the whole damn neighborhood, and now you have to pay rent to them. And when they are the ones that is in control, they do that on a normal basis. They jack rent up every year, and it ain't no $50. They jack you up $150, $200 on rent. Okay, so now things that are happening now, right, is gonna make these damn landlords even jack up the prices higher. So now the cost of living goes up even more. Now you're in the midst of gas prices going up. Hyperinflation is about to go up with foods and things like that. And then on top of that, your rent is going up higher. That's just going to make people become homeless, man. And homelessness right now is at an all-time high here in America. A lot of people are homeless on the low. A lot of people are just getting by with a couple dollars in their damn pocket. So imagine how much more when society itself is collapsing, you see? So you got rent going up, okay? It says expect tenants to make the landlords expect tenants to make 3 times more the rent. It says that's $9,000 a month or $108,000 a year. Okay? It says, but the average American salary is $51,000. Yeah, make it make sense. That means half the country literally can't afford an average apartment by the rules. Okay. So people gonna be made more homeless out here. All right. This is a couple more and then I'll close it out. All right, because I'll be here forever bringing out different types of news. All right, this is the U.S. owes trillions to these countries around the world. Okay. And the scriptures talk about how what is that? Habakkuk, let me grab that real quick. This is Habakkuk 2:6, and it reads, shall not all these take up a parable against him, all right, and a taunted proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that laddeth himself with thick clay. All right. And when you go into that thick clay, that word goes into them having debt. All right. So America, all right, Esau himself is known for having himself in debt. See, because what Esau does is he'll go and make peace deals with these people, right? And say, I'll give you military backup, or I'll give you military artillery, weapons, all this shit if you just, support us on this end. So they're in debt to them now. But what happens is that Esau's known for breaking peace treaties and shit, breaking deals, okay? and won't pay your ass back. Because he's going to pay you. He's not paying you in cash. He's paying you in actual military weaponry, things like that, right? Physical things, instead of paying you in actual dollars. So now that what happens is when these nations tally up all this shit, they realize that, damn, these motherfuckers owe us trillions and trillions of dollars. Okay? So basically what it says right here, it says Switzerland, all right, the U.S. owes money to these countries. Switzerland, 289 billion. France, 332 billion. Ireland, 336 billion. Belgium, 375 billion. Canada, 379 billion. Cayman Islands, 419 billion. See, these are all allies. These are all allies of America. This is why eventually Revelation 17 and 16 is going to end up happening. Okay? The beast shall hate the whore. All her allies is going to turn against America. They're going to conspire against her, and they're going to destroy her with thermonuclear missiles. They're going to destroy her with fire, man, for reasons like this and other reasons on top of that. You see? So it says Luxembourg, it says 429 billion. The United Kingdom, 723 billion. China, 759 billion. Japan, 1 trillion. Make it go make sense, man. This is why America has to be collapsed. This is why America has to go. Okay? So, I'll grab one more and I'll close it out. This is what's going on since March 19, 2 days ago, 2026. You got floods. All right, this is all around the world. All right, floods everywhere. Okay, the Lord's bringing floods around this place. All right, let me bring that up again. Floods, all part of the birth pangs. So you got Cyprus. All right, that's in heavy floods right now. You got Saudi Arabia going through certain type of storms and floods. All right, Jordan. Okay, Iraq. All right, there's no coincidence that these things are happening. All right, the Lord has his way with the storm. The Lord has his way with the tempest, as the scriptures say. All right, these things happen because the Lord is visiting this place. Let's end it with this. This is 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. You see? And hey, no man knows the hour. All right. No man knows exactly what time the Lord gonna bring total destruction, but the Lord said, measure the time diligently within itself, right? The Lord said he gonna leave us signs, okay? Scriptures talk about how you can discern the skies, right? The time of the day, but you can't discern the times that we're in, you see? So the Lord basically gonna show you through the Spirit, those that are able to receive it, right? They're having their eyesight, they're able to see what times that we're in, right? As the scriptures say, the prudent man foreseeth the evil and he hideth himself, right? So the prudent man is going to be able to see what's going on, all right, through the Spirit. We can see that we're at the end of these things, man. There's no, give me a better alternative, if you can, of what's going to happen here in America. There is none, because it just gets worse and worse and worse as the years go by and as the months go by now. Because again, we're not in those times of years no more. We're in the times of months. And months to the Heavenly Father's seconds. So in these last seconds of us being here, what you think is going to happen, man? America itself has been telling you that all hell's going to break loose out here. You see? So you have to measure the time diligently within itself and understand that the Lord is visiting here in America, right? And around the world. It says, therefore, when you shall see earthquakes and uproars of people in the world, you see? Do we not see earthquakes in diverse places, earthquakes where you have never seen them or heard of them being, you know, around? Okay. You see uproars of people all over the world, standing up against their governments, as it tells you in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, there should be sedition among men. And the most sedition is going to be here in America. People here in America standing up against their own government. But you also see that internationally. People standing up against their governments and realizing that their governments are wicked as hell. Governments are meant to be wicked and turn their backs on you, man. Okay? When it's all said and done, they're all ran by top banking families, by elites. You see? All these nations have their own elites. The main elite is Esau's elite. Okay? But they all, nonetheless, they all have their own elites that rule over them. So whenever these elites tell them they got to make something happen, it has to happen. Okay? So it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah, the Lord declared the end from the beginning. Okay? It says, for as like all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. You see, and the end is clear. Remember, the Lord said, make it plain upon the tables, right? So you have to make it clear unto them. The true prophets is making it clear unto you that we're at the end of this thing. The false prophets is making you feel like there's fucking hope of things coming back to normal and making you think that things are afar off. All right? There's no such thing as these things are going to happen 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. These things are happening right now. Okay? That's why the scriptures tell you. Let me grab this real quick and then I'll pretty much send it off, right? This is Ezekiel 12 and Salakia 12 and where am I? 23. It says 22. It says, son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying the days are prolonged and every vision faileth? Tell them, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease. You see, so the Lord put an end to that proverb, which is basically a 2/3 proverb. Okay, it says, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them that the days are at hand and the effect of every vision. For there shall be no more any vain vision, nor flattering divination within the house of Israel. For I am the Lord Yahweh, and I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged, for in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So the Lord said he's going to perform the word. He no longer going to speak it, because right now he's speaking the word through his prophets. So what we're doing as prophets is we're telling you what's to come, and then the Lord is going to perform it. You see? It says, again, the word of the Lord Yahweh came to me, saying, son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesied of the times that are far off. See, that's the mentality that our people got, that this shit ain't going to happen. Man, that ain't never going to happen in our time. That's going to be later. That's going to happen not when we're all dead and gone, you know? That's the mentality of our people, the knuckleheadedness of our people, right? It says, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore. Yeah, it's not going to return unto the Lord void. Everything that the Lord has spoken is going to come into play, and it's going to be performed. It's going to come to pass because it's prophecy, okay? It says, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You see? So back to Habakkuk 2, 2nd Ezra 9 and 5. And it says, for like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and ending and effects and signs. You see? So the Lord has his powerful works, his wonders, right? He had those from the beginning. But then it says, and in endings in effects and signs. So how do we know that we're at the end? Because there's cause and effect, right? These things are being caused and there's an effect to it. And there's an effect that's happening worldwide, right? And then you see the signs that the Lord has given you, the signs of how we're at the end of these things, whether it be signs in the skies, whether it be signs in the sun and the moon, the stars, right? Whether it be signs of spiritual signs, okay? Signs are being shown worldwide, all right, that this place is in complete turmoil, that this place is going to be completely collapsed, you see? So, hey, all we could do is stay prepared, man. Continue to watch, be as watchmen. That's our jobs, is be as watchmen and keep reporting live, all right, every day, letting you know how close and closer we become. We continue to come. We continue to come. All right, we're this close to everything collapsing, and that MOTB, all right, that RFID being made mandatory. Once that's made mandatory, all right, missiles is gonna fly for World War III. All right. So I said that shit, and it was a whole veteran right there. Old school veteran too. He looked at me crazy as hell when I said that shit. But yeah, that's the times that we in, man. So we got to stay prepared, right? As the Lord said, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. If the good man will watch and what watch, the thief will come. He will not suffer his house to be broken up. So we tell you these things to keep you ready, right? And keep you focused to attend to the Lord without distraction. We have to occupy ourselves till Yahawashi come back and rain righteousness upon this place. So I'm going to leave it there through the Spirit. Just wanted to give a couple of updates on the news. The news is lit and things are happening all across the globe. So I'm going to leave it there through the Spirit. Lord willing that you were edified. So with that being said, hey, Shalom, Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah. To the both sisters, Shalom, Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah. And to you and your households, stay prayed up. As always, continue to pray that this place go through its destruction. All right. So we can get the hell up out of here as quick as possible, man. All right. And it's right around the corner. So I'm going to leave it there through the Spirit. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Haloyim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. You sisters continue to learn the silence, watch the true men of the Lord. And after that, like I said, just stay prayed up. All right, that's all we could do is continue to keep ourselves prayed up, make no provision for the flesh, and stay alert and ready, being circumspect at all times, redeeming the times because the days are evil. All right, so Shalom, Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah.